you all for your patience.
Technology.
Our world. Okay, we should be
Good.
live. Yep.
Morning, everyone. Call the meeting to order. Wayne County Industrial Development Agency.
If you guys can mute online, that would be helpful. Thank you. Okay, we should be
Good.
live.
Oh,
Yep.
it's
Morning, everyone.
Oh,
Call the meeting to
hang on,
order.
that's me.
Wayne County Industrial Development Agency.
that's
You
a
guys
quite
can
the
mute.
I'm not able to hear anybody.
I was just about to say the same thing. Can you guys hear us?
Yep, there we go. Sorry.
Okay,
Oh, there you are.
thank
Good.
you.
Okay, my bad.
Okay. Could I get a motion to approve the March 23rd, 2022 meeting minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Kay. Second,
You can unmute to talk.
I'll second.
thanks, Bobby.
Bob.
Thanks, Bobby. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next, we have a resolution for Van Bortle Chevrolet product authorization. You're up.
We have Kitty, Tim, and Matt to talk about the project. Good morning. Thank you for coming today. Tim, you want to start?
Sure. So we're planning on demolishing an existing barn structure that's there
Can everyone hear okay?
and building a brand new 34,000.
If you could be a little closer to the microphone, that would be great. Thank you.
Down here. Good, is that the end of it?
Yep.
Can you hear me okay now?
Just talk loud. It should be able to pick up.
So we're planning on demolishing an existing barn structure that is there currently and building a brand new 34,000 square foot Corvette retail automotive dealership. The project budget is roughly $6 million, 5.4 million in hard costs, 585,000 in soft costs. I mean, I think it will be a real nice attraction for the Wayne County area. Anyone have any-
Can you touch on the jobs that'll be retained or created?
So we're planning on 10 additional new jobs. This building has 6 additional lifts. We'll open up some additional capacity for the current Chevrolet store and yeah, about 10, we're budgeting 10 jobs over the next 3 years. Yep, all of them in a range between 30,000 and 100,000+ in wages.
Does anyone from the board have any questions in regards to this application?
What was the employee information that you gave, please?
So we're budgeting in 10 additional new jobs. The wages depend on the skill level, but it could be anywhere from 30,000 to 100,000+ for a skilled technician.
Thank you.
We also had a public hearing last week in the town of Macedon. We did have a few participants. The only question was in regards to when the pilot would start with the school district. So we answered that question, and other than that, that was all the comments for the public hearing last week.
Any other questions?
But have any other questions?
There's a nice.
I'm good.
Description of the
Good too.
project right here too. You want to see size?
Good. You get a motion to authorize the resolution for the project for Van Bortle Chevrolet.
I'll make that motion, Scott.
Thanks, Kay. Second.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. You're good.
All right.
Happy to have you in Wayne County.
Simple.
Yes, congratulations. We're
Congrats.
excited.
Very much.
Yes,
Thank you.
Now, you are happy to stay, you're able
Yeah,
to
you
stay
can-
if you'd like to. It's not necessary. What I will do is I will give you guys a call about the next steps. I know you want to start with the sales tax, so I will touch base with you about that. Okay, great. Okay, but if you want to stay, you're more than
Put it on
welcome
the
to. We have
list.
another presentation with the
Okay.
No, I think we'll move on.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
great day.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, hi, here I am.
Thanks.
My
Get me
cell
on
is
the
on
list.
here. I'll get you right on the list.
All right,
Just
thank you.
let me, send me your contact information. You know what you want yet?
Not really.
Okay, well.
I'm
I
a
think-
former Mustang guy.
We're being recorded,
Okay.
just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank
See
you.
ya.
Probably about a year and a half wait at this point, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah. No,
Careful.
Thanks
we
again.
get chips from China.
Always trying to sell something.
Mhm. Take care.
Okay. Next up is Max Pro and Optimax.
Yes, so next we have both Tom and Felix from Max Pro and Optimax. And so Tom and Felix, if you could just give us a little description of your project and the jobs.
Sure. So I'll start. This is Tom Stern. I'm the financial controller at Optimax and also representing Max Pro as well. So with this project here, I think, so Optimax is, first of all, thrilled to be in Wayne County. We've been a part of the community for 30 years plus, growing very rapidly. And we've been very, very fortunate to be a part of Wayne County over that time and looking forward to continuing to do so. So what we'd like to do here is over the course of the next, I'll say 12, 15 months, we will be adding on 36,000 square feet to the southwest of our existing facility. So currently we have about between 115 and 120,000 square feet. We'll be adding on an additional 36,000 square feet. This is all on lands that we currently own. It will be entirely manufacturing space. So again, the hope is to drive additional area for CNC equipment and operators, coating equipment, and operators. There'll be about 50 full-time heads added over the next 5 years. And additionally 50 heads retained by doing this program. We're in a spot where if we don't continue to grow fast enough, our customers will, it's either all or none. They want to work with us on project and they want us to do the whole project, or if we can't keep up, they'll go and they'll find somebody else. And so, this 36,000 square feet will enable us to continue to work with our customers and grow with them so that we can continue to to earn those opportunities going forward. So again, we think we can add about 50 heads over the course of the next 5 years by doing this expansion, and retain about 50 heads as a result of it as well. Total project costs about 15 million, a third of which is construction of the building itself. And that falls under Max Pro. The other 2/3 or so is equipment that's in leasehold improvements that will be funded by Optimax Systems. And again, it's probably a 12 to 15 month time frame until we are until that's completed. We have the certificate of occupancy and we're fully moved in. I don't know if there's anything I missed, Felix, but feel free to jump in if you have additional information.
No, I think you covered it all, Tom. So I think you've pretty much hit all the high points. So.
Any questions from the board?
We had a public hearing on March 16th. We did not have any members of the public attend the meeting. It was just company representatives and myself, and we did not receive any public comment via mail or email.
Great. I'd just like to say it's great. Any expansion in Wayne County is great.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, can I get a motion to authorize the resolution for Max Pro and Optimax?
So
I'll
moved.
move it.
I'll second.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Kay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tom and Felix, thank you so much for being on the Zoom meeting today. You're more than welcome to stay, but what I will do is I will follow up with you guys later on after the meeting about the next steps.
Great.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Take care. Bye.
All righty. Board evaluation update.
Yes. So as we do every year, we have a confidential survey for our board members. And this is a brief synopsis of the confidential survey. I don't do it individually, again, because it is confidential and we're not supposed to sort of identify which board member is answering the questions. And for the most part, most of our responses are agree or agree somewhat. The areas that we're going to continue to improve on is the performance measures, which is something we approved earlier this year, but I believe we always want to look back at these performance measures to update them on a regular basis. So that is something that we will continue to review both at the board level and at the governance committee. And then the other main area that both Brian and I would like to leave the door open for all of our board members are if there are areas of concerns or areas you'd like to talk more in depth about, you know, our doors are always open. Please give us a call so we can, you know, help address any concerns you may have about IDA, EDC, and CFDC. So this is the synopsis we have. We do this annually. So again, we'll be doing this next year as well.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for everybody participating. in
Yes, I think this is actually the year where we had the best results as well.
Okay, great. All righty. Now we have a resolution accepting and authorizing the submission of the revised 2020 procurement report to Paris.
Yes. Do you want to? Or
Sure.
Okay.
So we previously authorized to put the procurement report into Paris. We were contacted back and I was aware that I made an error. So when we previously reported the procurement report, I included all of the checks that were written in 2021, even though some of the invoices were for 2020. So this new report in front of you is reflecting that. So if you want to scroll down just a little bit. So the companies are still the same, except GRE or Genesee Transportation Council was removed because that was a 2020. And the amounts were just changed. I apologize. That was an error on my part.
So these are all checks that were written in 2021.
And invoiced in 2021, correct?
Invoiced,
Yes.
yep.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Nope.
Can I get a motion to accept and authorize the submission of these?
I will make that motion.
Thank you.
Jeannie? It was Jeannie?
Yes.
Jeannie, thanks, Jeannie. Second,
Second.
thanks, Kay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Alrighty.
Sorry, guys, I've got a lot of noise behind me today, so I'm trying to stay unmuted as much as possible.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. 2021 pilot analysis.
So last year we began taking a deeper dive into pilot analysis than just the preliminary parish reporting. So that includes a map so that we can see where our pilots, where our loans, where our grants have been dispersed across the county. So there's the new updated one. These are all of the open grants or loans or pilots for 2021. And then the next map you're going to see is a new map. We just began that this year, and this is comparing solar projects with IDA pilots along with planning referrals. So we also work with the planning department, and they get referrals from the towns for solar projects. So there's the green, which is municipal solar projects. You have the blue, which is planning referrals. And those are projects that are in process. Those are the ones that we expect to see hopefully expect to see come through the IDA in the future. The red are planning referrals where the project has not been completed. And then the yellow are where our solar projects pilots are for the IDA.
Do you have a count? Oh, the counts are in there.
Yep, the counts are in there. So there's 6 municipal, 3 projects that are in process, 7 that were not completed or not approved, and then 13 solar pilots for the IDA. This is just informational because I know solar is going to be coming up a lot more in the next future years. So just kind of to get a ground base.
Question or comments?
Next page is where we dive in a little bit deeper. So we're always talking about pilots all year long. We just, you just passed 2 resolutions for 2 different pilots. This is where we take this deeper dive and really look at what the numbers mean. So all of the, for 2021, all of the pilot property, the assessment value on all that property that was switched from roll 1, which is taxable, to roll 8, which is non-taxable, was about $118 million of assessment value. So in turn, that actually means the real property tax exemption. So the tax that the tax value that we took away was 4.5. In replacement for that, we bill for pilot revenue. So we bill each pilot customer for the town, the county, the village, the school, along with solar host community benefit for the first year of solar projects. So in that, we took 1.7 million in revenue. We also gave tax exemptions, so sales tax and mortgage recording, which was about 71 for each, which brings us to about 2.9 for the exemption value for 2021. But in exchange for 2.9 of abated benefits, if you scroll down just a little bit, I'm sorry. There was 2,800 jobs created for Wayne County only. And it was just jobs in Wayne County, not different facilities. So 2,500 jobs is what was retained. The average salaries for that job was about 48,000 per job. So that gets us 122 million. And then 267 jobs were created with an average salary of about 39, which gets 10 million. So in exchange for that 2.9 of exemption value, property tax, sales, mortgage recording, we actually helped assist with salary creation of $132 million. And then that's just the total. So there's 37 pilots in 2021. Anybody have any questions on that? Because I know, this is like the big picture of pilots as opposed to we see each pilot individually.
Do we have projection numbers on economic growth for Wayne County, specifically the financial side as well as job creation side on an annual basis? Like, do you guys have numbers, or do we have numbers we should be driving towards? It's kind of back into the metrics discussion. But it'd be interesting to, as we look at the county and we spread our money across the whole entire county, what percent gets, the western side to eastern side, that whole thing to drive this. So we're driving the monies in the right spots, if that makes sense. Do we have that kind of metric that we're working towards?
We do not have that metric. We could do that with our pilots and our loans because they do show us a projection of the first 5 years.
Yeah.
But overall, for all of our businesses, we would not have that information, but we could do it for pilots and for loans.
I think, Katie, it'd be interesting to start doing something like that, because if you look at Wayne County in general, obviously the western side of Wayne County has always been more prosperous. And it's, how do we drive it more across the whole entire county to make sure we're growing, we're doing our job, if you will, to make sure we're growing across the whole county, and give us a metric as we kind of look each year what we're trying to drive. Personally, I think that would help. I don't know if anybody else has any input on that, but I'm kind of metrics driven. So, as you know.
Well, and and I think the next part, Jamie is going to talk about some of the highlights too of our pilot projects. And then we'll also do the same for loans as well.
I think it would help us as a board too, so that when we're looking at things, it's not just, and I don't mean this appropriately, but we're not just throwing things up and saying, okay, yep, let's go. But there's actually a strategy to what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Jeannie was going to say something.
Yeah, I was, everything Kate just said I had in my mind. I will add that also to, if there was a way to see that, are the monies from those new jobs being created and retained being spent, like a lot of people on that western side, maybe are they grocery shopping, or are they buying their appliances in Webster versus in Wayne County, where we've got great numbers for income, for creating income for a lot more people. But then where are they putting those dollars? Do we have the locations in this county for them to buy things for their homes, for their families?
Yeah. All good points.
Yeah.
And we can always add a map along with that too, looking at not just where the pilots are, but the value of those pilots, of where they are in the county.
And then Jamie, do you want to give some of these highlights that you've done with our specific pilots?
So we take a deep dive into every single pilot relating to where they are, what year in their pilot, compared to the current year, where they started with their full-time equivalent, their FTE jobs, what they committed to creating and retaining. And so these are the big highlight jobs, and there's a lot of them on there, which is fantastic, especially going through, still 2021, where COVID still kind of impacted a lot of businesses. But like IEC up at the top right there, they committed to retaining 440 and creating, scroll just a little bit. Thank you. 344. So this is technically their first year of their pilot, really. And at the end of 2021, they've still retained the 440, and they've already created 204 out of that 344. They technically have up to like the 3 years to create them, and they've already well surpassed at least half of that in year one. Another one was Max Pro right below, who we just heard from. And so in 2021, they surpassed their 2018. They had a little stumble in 2019 and 2020, COVID. So they committed to retaining 291 and creating an additional 59. They've actually retained 291 and they created 78. And then we just heard from Tom saying that they're going to create an additional 50. And then, let's see.
Then do you want to?
The next one is just looking for the past 10 years from 2011 to 2021, where our job retention and creation numbers have been. So in 2011, we were at 554. In 2020, we were up to over 1,000. And then, 2021 is at 700. So we just see where we've been in the past 10 years.
Jamie, and to tie on with what Jeannie was saying too, what would be interesting is a breakdown of the demographics of those jobs. So where do those people live?
Yeah, there's no requirement in any of our pilots.
Yeah, I know.
Jobs have to be created in Wayne County, but there's no requirements to fill those jobs with Wayne County residents.
It'd be interesting though to see that, to see how that racks and stacks, especially like Jeannie was saying on the western side, where they're being pulled from. And then if you look at those jobs that are $100,000 plus jobs, where they are. I mean, I know there's no requirement, but it'd be interesting to see that.
The next section down there are just the extra pilots that are still, maintaining their job numbers of what they've committed to. The bottom section right there, those 6, the fluctuating pilots with their retention and creation. We reached out to every single one of them and asked, maybe they took a dip in employment or maybe they fell below their commitment. And we received letters back from each representative company explaining that COVID truly impacted every single one of their companies pertaining to that. They are looking to fill those positions and they are, interviewing. They're just having a hard time finding people. But we are keeping an eye on it. We are reaching out to every single company and seeing if we can help assist with anything with that.
Jamie, are they saying it's more they can't find the people or it's the price point to bring them in?
They just said they can't find people, but I didn't dive into if it was salary wise or not.
Yeah, because I struggle with that. There's people out there, welders and machinists, but I'm having to pay them probably $10 more than I used to like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a hit on the margin. It's tough. So that's why I was wondering what they're running into. There are people out there. It's a whole different ball game now.
I think that's the last one, right? So yeah, this is just like a big overall analysis on our pilots. If there's any other extra questions or any ideas that you guys want to add on, I will definitely, Katie and I can work towards that as well. Again, this is the second year we've ever done this. I'm not sure if any other IDAs do this in New York. So we're always open to suggestions of what you guys want to see.
No, this is good information.
Agreed.
And then,
Any other questions or comments? Good.
I'll
Okay.
do my next part.
Yep.
This one.
Executive director's updates.
And then I'll just touch on the account balances.
No.
So the IDA is right at the top. Again, this is very normal, especially to last month as well.
Good. Okay. All righty. Executive director's update.
As for executive director updates, Brian just wanted to say he is going to be enjoying his honeymoon. So
Good for him.
It's on the
For
beach.
him.
yes. And then with other business. Deb, do you want to inform them about the recognition for Small Business Week and what we did in order to recognize small businesses in Wayne County?
Yeah, so Small Business Week is recognized by the U.S. Department of Small Business Administration on the first week of May. So in April, we put a survey together and introduced it to the public on Facebook and in press releases and on our website. The survey asked for input on nominations from the public for their favorite small business in Wayne County. We had an overwhelming response. We felt it was almost 500 nominations came in, individuals nominating businesses. And out of that almost 500 nominations, there were 81 businesses that were recognized or nominated for some outstanding service that they provided or product that they provided. So initially we were going to pick 3 or 4 of the businesses and recognize them with a visit and invite our 2 local elected officials, Senator Helming and Assemblyman Mantelo, to join us. But because of timing and still some of the COVID issues, we decided that instead of just recognizing 3 or 4, that we were going to recognize all of them. So we created certificates that you probably can't see them great, but these are certificates on a nice certificate paper that they can frame and hang at their business. We've contacted almost all of them, let them know that they've been nominated and that they are being recognized as a small business of significance in the county. We're going to deliver those certificates either in person or by mail. Scott's agreed to take his for SOTUS. And have them take a picture, send us a picture back, or take their own picture and post it on our Facebook page. So that's how we're going to recognize all of these businesses. So we'll make a big deal out of it with a press release mentioning all of them, and then also posting it on Facebook and on our website. So it's exciting that 81 small businesses, and some of them, when you see these, we'll share the list with you. We had never heard of, for example, KNC Worm Farm. So it's just these little, niche businesses that people are excited to utilize and see here in the county, and hopefully we can introduce ourselves to them and help them grow. So that's what we're doing there.
Where will the press release go?
So we send it out to obviously the Wayne Times, but also to the Lakeshore News, the Finger Lakes Times. We include the Rochester DNC. They don't always print our stuff. Rochester Business Journal. Trying to think of some of the other major ones. Those are the 4 major ones.
Good.
Yeah, the news, Spectrum News, the radio stations. Yep.
How did we select the 81 out of the 500?
So 500 nominations came in, and out of that 500, some of multiple, like one business got 175. Okay, so we just.
So there wasn't picking and choosing.
Nope, it was recognizing everybody that got nominated.
Yep.
I don't know if we'll do that every year, but we certainly wanted, coming off of COVID, I don't believe this office did anything in the last 2 years recognizing small businesses for Small Business Week. But it was really great to see, and it was Ariel's idea. She's on here somewhere, but it was really great to see the public nominate, that they wanted to have some input, and they all had comments too that were really encouraging. And I shared those comments with each of the business owners, and the responses, one of them said she was just crying tears of joy to see that the work that she put into this small business was really making a difference for people. So it gives them some encouragement.
I think it's great to recognize them all, but maybe in the future, pick out 3 or 4. And
we have to come up with a category of some kind.
So our first year, we did it by people who had some strong milestones, like 75 years in business, 100 years in business. Next year is going to be the bicentennial. So we thought, we haven't made any decisions yet, but sort of maybe complement doing something like that with the bicentennial.
Sure.
So, but again, that's to be determined, but might be an opportunity to do something like that.
Great.
Yeah. So our hands won't get tired.
I was like, did your hand get tired?
I just signed all 81 this morning.
Right. I took it in phases. I did like 20 at a time. Took a break.
So, okay, great. Now, they're very nice certificates. And they said, I'll deliver the ones to Sodas and
Thank
see
you.
if they can get their picture. What's their
Good.
name on our Facebook page?
I'll get it. for
It's
you,
at
yeah.
Wayne County, New York is the
Yeah.
Facebook is at Wayne County, New York, and I've shared it. I'm gonna be sharing it with all of them. But I can send it out as an email to the board, again, with the press release so that you can see all the names of all the businesses. And where
Yeah, that
they're-
would be great. Send it out if you could.
Yep.
All right, very nice.
That's it for other business, unless any board members have any other business.
Deb, I have a question. Is that AT Wayne County, New York?
No, so on Facebook, they use the @ sign
Okay.
Yeah.
and you can search that at Wayne County, New York, all strung together.
Great. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Our next meeting is May 25th. Motion to adjourn? All right, let's-
So moved.
Thank you. Okay. Second? Second. Thanks, Bobby. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?